अनन्तं विभुं निर्विकल्पं निरीहं शिवं सङ्गहीनं यदोङ्कारगम्यं निराकारमत्युज्ज्वलं मृत्युहीनं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि। विमुक्तसङ्गाय सदुत्तमाय नित्याद्वयानन्दरसस्वरूपिणे भूम्ने सदा पारदयाम्बुधाम्ने नमस्ते नमस्ते विभो विश्वमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते चिदानन्दमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते तपोयोगगम्य नमस्ते नमस्ते श्रुतिज्ञानगम्य नमस्ते नमस्ते तपोयोगगम्य नमस्ते नमस्ते श्रुतिज्ञानगम्य. So we will start from the 9th verse today. 3rd chapter, 9th verse. This is if you divide the chapter in various sections, this is the next section. Yajnarthat karmanonyatra लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर सहजज्ञाः प्रजाः सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् एष वोस्त्विष्टकामधुक् देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्स्यथ इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवा दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः तैर्दत्तानप्रदायैभ्यो यो भुङ्क्तेस्तेन एव सः यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तो मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते ते त्वघं पापा ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्. So these verses, and in the 4th chapter, I think it is 23 to 33 in the 4th chapter. 23 to 33 in the 4th chapter. Here, in these verses, Krishna is giving an altogether new definition of Yajna. And he has taken the concept from usual ritualistic definition to a universal definition. That is normally, as I said the last day also, that yajnas are part of the karma kanda of the Veda, the ritualistic part of the Vedas. And people perform yajna with phalakanksha. Phalakanksha means to gain something, either in this world or after death in the other world. So there is a desire behind the performance of the yajna. Sometimes, of course, this desire is taken to a greater level of social welfare or so. That also can be done, but generally, as it was individually practiced, it was given to individual desires. But here in Bhagavad Gita, yajna is just the reverse of it. Yajna concept is introduced, which will take away the desires from our mind. All the actions have to be done with the yajna attitude, means to keep away that carrot of happiness away from the work, and do it with a non-selfish, completely surrendered motive, with a sense of surrender. So there it is phala prapti, and here it is phala tyaga. Phala tyaga means surrendering the result that I will gain. Result means objective, as I said, you should not forget at all. Any work done about the objective result, we cannot do anything. Whatever by causality, if you do it well, the result will be well. If you do it wrongly, the result will be wrong. About the objective result, there is no question of tyaga at all. It will come by following the material causality. Nothing can be done. Whenever Bhagavad Gita is referring to the phala tyaga, it is about the carrot, that end part of it, that I will become happy by doing this. I will do this to gain money or prestige or property or fame or so, and getting that, this will happen, that will happen. Finally is that I will become happy. So removing that carrot of happiness is the phala tyaga. Now, as I said, that samatva is defined as the yoga here. So samatva has been prescribed as a very definite practice, as a pursuit in the karma yoga of Bhagavad Gita, or you can say Bhagavad Gita yoga. Because whenever we say karma yoga, there is some misconception and preconceptions associated with it. Bhagavad Gita yoga is a combination of bhakti, jnana and karma all together. Without buddhi, this yoga cannot be performed. Just I do karma, it will not be possible. One has to understand the redundancy of the desire. So that needs buddhi, that needs it has to be established in buddhi. Now, as the samatva yoga is one orientation which will take us to the ultimate liberation or ultimate realization of the truth, like that, this yajna bhavana also is another way of looking at it. Actually, whatever method is given, everything will take us to the same goal. As Krishna himself has said, dvividha nishtha. Like that, whatever models have been given, everything will take us to the same goal. But it is a looking at the thing in a different orientation, so that we can apply wholesomely in all our throughout our life, in all the work we do throughout the day, this sadhana can remain active. That is the purpose. So, yajna bhavana is equally an important concept of Bhagavad Gita, or important model of sadhana in Bhagavad Gita. Here he is saying that Jajñarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanah tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangah samachara. Jajñarthat karmanah anyatra ayam lokah karma bandhanah bhavati. That means whatever is done without the jajna bhavana, it causes bondage. He is just defining outside that whatever is done without the jajna bhavana, even if we cook also without the jajna bhavana, or we are doing anything, opening a factory or working in the factory or walking everywhere, any action done without the jajna bhavana will lead to bandhana. Why? The fact is that whenever we are sticking or clinging to the final result which will make me happy, it will cause bandhana. Why? Because suppose you don't get that result what you have expected, then you will not be happy, and you have to suffer that. And if you get the result, you will be elated and it will not remain forever. So later on you will lose. This clinging to raga and dvesha, clinging to what I like and hating what I dislike, that causes the bandhana. So Yajna Arthat means with the attitude of Yajna, if it is performed, then we will not cling to the result. That is the idea. So he says, Yajnarthat karmanaha anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangaha samachara. Therefore, O Kaunteya, O Arjuna, you do everything getting rid of the sangaha, mukta sangaha. This sangha means clinging to the result, clinging to what I like and hating what I dislike. Leaving that sangha, don't cling to anything. Do it tad artham. Tat means the truth. You can call it Ishvara, you can call it God, you can call it Yajna, whatever. That ultimate. Tat means the ultimate truth. Tad artham. That means, as we say, that whatever you do it surrendering to the Lord. These are very common words. That thinking you are doing as if for the Lord you are doing. You are an instrument, you are doing for the Lord. But here it is not so. We say we are doing for the Lord, but how will you know that you have surrendered to the Lord in doing it? Nobody can see, because you have not seen God. Whether God exists or not also we do not know. We may start with a certain thing, but to make it effective, make the surrender effective, we have to think in this manner as Bhagavad Gita has presented. That it is our clinging, our desires which is not making it surrendered to the Lord. Whenever that is not there, it automatically becomes surrendered. Whether it is to Lord existing or non-existing, it doesn't matter. Everything has to do with our own mindset, that it becomes a surrendered. Really speaking, the surrender, we go on saying, it doesn't have meaning. Because God is never coming back to us saying that, no, you have not surrendered. The test of surrender comes only when we have a guru. Because guru will come and tell us, suppose I want to rest at that time, guru ask me to do something. Then the question will come that whether I am ready to surrender my rest or not. Suppose I want to read the Shastras only, and guru says, now you make the building. Then the test comes that whether I will be able to make the building or I cling to the studies. Everywhere you will find that this surrender becomes operative only when the Ishwar comes down as the Guru before us, a living idol, living Ishwar. Then surrender becomes a real test. And we understand that surrender needs the greatest self-effort. Greatest purushakara, self-effort. Because before that, in the name of surrender, actually we are becoming lazy. Whenever we don't want to do, we say that because God has not willed, I am not doing. Whatever we cannot do, God has not given me the power, so I cannot do. So everything, whatever we cannot do is surrendered to the Lord, that because Lord has not given me. So it is an excuse. Generally the surrender is an excuse not doing anything properly also. Even perfection, उन्होंने जन्म लिया है perfection के साथ, वो करेंगे. हमारे बचपन से हमारे फादर भी वैसे थे, हम भी ऐसे हैं, वो नहीं होगा. One father had two sons. The father was a drunkard. So one son became a drunkard. He used to say that, what can I do? My father was a drunkard, so I have also taken to drinks. The other boy said that, I have seen my father drinking and making havoc in the house. So right from the beginning, from young age, I have decided I will never come near the liquor. I will never touch liquor. So who has taken which decision? Is it not his self-effort? One person says that my father is drinking, I am also drinking. Another person says that my father is drinking and creating havoc, so I don't drink. It is all everywhere, it is self-effort. But in the name of surrender, we generally keep away the self-effort. That becomes realistic when we have to stay with a guru and follow his words. Suppose you have fixed a marriage with some boy or your daughter's marriage with some boy, and guru feels something that it is not going to be all right, and he says that please don't get married to this boy. You will find most of the people cannot accept it. इतना ढूंढ के एक दामाद मिला है, अभी स्वामी जी बोल रहे हैं कि इसको नहीं चाहिए, कैसे और मिलेगा? करा देते हैं. स्वामी जी को क्या पता है, वो तो सन्यासीन है, विवाह के विषय में उनको क्या पता है. करा देते हैं, then within year they will come back for divorce हो जा रहा, ये हो रहा है, स्वामी जी कुछ कीजिए. This is the general way of handling things. So whenever the guru is right in front, our self-effort will be tried, and you will find that to surrender, greatest self-effort is necessary. Every step the self-effort to, because it is to win over our slavery to the objective world. Self-effort means winning over the slavery we have towards the objective situation or objective world. That slavery can be of various kinds. So, to listen to the Guru or to do something Ishwarecha means completely getting rid of the slavery and being master of oneself. That whatever the intelligence says, whatever our Viveka Buddhi says, the mind will be ready to listen to it, and the body and indriyas should be ready to do it accordingly. There will be a complete harmony in the being. This is the result of this. The whole being gets integrated. That generally always we are struggling, the indriyas are struggling with the mind is not approving, oh, baad mein gadbad ho jayega, abhi ye mat karo. But indriyas want, so finally the mind agrees, you do it. But the intelligence still says that don't do, you will be in trouble. But we don't listen. So there is always a fight going on between the mind and the intelligence and the body. But in this case, in the case of surrender, we are surrendering to our real self. By getting connected with that, our buddhi becomes the viveka buddhi, which will always take us to the auspicious, keep us on the auspicious path. So, surrender will make all our indriyas as well as mind, buddhi, everything connected to the soul. So everything will be in harmony. Whatever the inner voice says, the buddhi will say that yes, this is the right thing. It will prompt to the mind that this has to be done. The mind without any trouble will listen to the buddhi, viveka buddhi. And as the mind says, the indriyas also will listen. So it is a completely integrated personality. It results in integrated personality. That is called surrender. That you are no more slave to the worldly situation, worldly attraction and repulsion, both raga dvesha. You are no more slave to your raga dvesha. You are moving in the same world. World has not changed. There is nothing to be done with the world. We don't have to change the world. We have only to treat our raga dvesha, our clinging to what we like and the hating what we dislike. If that is gone, then we are master of ourselves and we become master of the world also. That is what Bhagavad Gita says. रागद्वेष वियुक्तैस्तु विषयान् इंद्रियैश्चरन् आत्मवश्यैर विधेय आत्मा प्रसादम अधिगच्छति. रागद्वेष वियुक्तैस्तु, one who has eliminated his ragadvesha, vishayan indriyaischarana, he is also moving around in the same world with the world objects with his same indriyas, with the same sense organs. But atmavashyair videya atma, this is the important point here. Atmavashyai means he is not slave to the objective situation, objective objects and objective situation. He is under the vash, under the discipline of his atma, atmavashyai. That means he is always guided by his inner voice. Videya atma, that is called videya atma. That from inner harmony, inner guidance, he is disciplined by that. Controlled is a wrong word because it means forceful control. It is not control. He is harmonious with his inner voice. That harmony makes him do everything. Atmavashyair videya atma. Now when we become like this, prasadam adhigacchati. Prasada. He attains prasada. This is what is the ananda. The other day somebody was asking, what is the ananda of a knower? Actually the ananda is prasada. Prasada means, English closest you can say, placidity. That prasada will be there in dukkha as well as sukha. It is not the prasada will be there only in sukha. It will be there in dukkha also equally. It is the placidity of the being. There is no clash going on in the inner part of the different aspects of our being. So everything is in harmony. So he gets flooded with the prasada. Prasadam adhigacchati. Remaining in the same world, interacting with the same world in various ways. Maybe sometimes sweet ways, sometimes scolding people also, sometimes shouting at people also, but he will not have any inner agitation in doing anything. Ihaiva tair jitas sargo. He wins over the whole Srishti by that. By becoming master of our raga dvesha, master of ourself, we become master of the whole world. So this tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. You do everything becoming freed of the clinging for tat artham, means surrendering to the Lord, or for the Ishvarecha, as we say. Ramana Maharshi has said that Ishvararpitam nechaya kritam. Very small couplet. Ishvararpitam nechaya kritam. When it becomes Ishvararpitam, I said that you have to have a guru to understand, but here he is saying, suppose you don't have a guru. Ramana Maharshi did not have a guru. So, actually it is not known whether he had guru or not. People believe that he did not have any guru. Now, Ishvararpitam nechaya kritam. That means when you do not do according to your desires, then it becomes Ishvararpitam. There are common thumb rules also. Suppose, how will you know whether you have desire or not? Suppose something has to be done, you want to do something. In your mind you think that, what is the harm if I don't do? If you are equally stable with not doing it also, that means your desires, you don't have any strong desire there. At least strong desire you do not have. If you have a strong desire, you will not be able to not doing it. You have to do it. Similarly, something you don't want to do, you ask that, what is the harm if I do it? If you don't have a dvesha towards it, then you will be able to do it when it is necessary. So raga dvesha can be tested like that. At least to intensity of it can be tested like that. So here he has taken the Yajna to an universal level. That last day also I said that the whole world, the whole universe is a Yajna of the Lord. That everywhere so much of activity is going on. No desire is there. The earth is running around the sun, the moon is running around the moon, around the earth. Plants are going, flowers are blossoming, galaxies are getting destroyed, galaxies are getting born. Everywhere all these functions are happening just naturally. There is no desire involved everywhere. So this desireless action is called Yajna in Bhagavad Gita. So when we consider ourselves that when the whole universe is functioning without desire, can I not also function being a part of the universe, having some special qualities which other elements may not have? I may have a mind which the plants may not have. I may have a self-will which the animals may not have. But with all that also, can we not function harmonious with nature? If we can, then it becomes a Yajna. It will happen only when we are keeping away our special clinging to what we like and hating what we dislike. In other sense, when we keep away the ego which we posit always, which is not true. Ego means here it is egotism, the ahankara we say. That whatever we are doing, it is done by my the body-mind instrument. Am I responsible for that? It is a product of nature. If my intelligence is sharp, we feel very egoistic about it. I am very intelligent. You are intelligent because you have been given birth as an intelligent boy. Do you have any credit for your intelligence? Suppose you are a dull, then we feel very small about it. That is also an ego. I am born, I am a product of nature. With these faculties I have been born. Even people have lot of ahankara if they are looking beautiful. For the look, intelligence at least you can brush up. Also, of course, beauty also you can prepare. But even without that, as a child also they are egoistic about their rupa, about their beauty. So, the whole action we are doing is done by the three gunas. As the first few days I have explained, that it is the guna guneshu vartanta. All the gunas means the nature's powers. They are working, they are functioning. As they are functioning everywhere without any ego, they are functioning through my body-mind complex also. By a delusion, we are positing a special egoistic I over there. One I is there, that will be there. Our hub of our personality is there, and our consciousness as it is reflected in our buddhi, that is there. That I is fine. But we are positing with that हमने ये किया है, हमने वो किया है, हमें ये करना है, वो करना है, both past and future. That association is creating the ego which is not all right. There is a shloka which says, Atita ananusandhanam bhavishyad avicharanam audasinyam api praptam jivan muktasya lakshanam. Who is a jivan mukta? They have so many shlokas about it. This is one shloka, I think Yoga Vasishta perhaps. Atita ananusandhanam. Anusandhanam means always going behind and looking into it. Generally we are always doing either Atita anusandhanam and bhavishyat vicharanam. That means either we are looking behind, हमने वो किया था, ये किया था. Either we are feeling elated about something good I have done, or sinful about something wrong I have done, small about something wrong I have done. Either these are the thoughts, or हमें ये करना है, वो करना है, करके क्या होगा? That either in the future we are imagining, or in the past we are loitering. Here he is saying, Atita ananusandhanam, na anusandhanam. Don't run after the Atita at all. Whatever to be learned, message, etc., you take it and you can incorporate it. You don't have to constantly run behind that. Bhavishyad avicharanam. Don't go on imagining about future, what will happen. I will open a factory, then this will be produced, then I will have money, then you will have this. The moment the child is born, we start imagining about whether he will become a software engineer or what he will become. I have seen a mother who was very, very worried and fearful. The small girl she had, she started thinking if she is getting raped, what will happen. So much of raping is going on. So the mother is worried about if my daughter get raped by others. She is a small girl of 2 years or 3 years at that time she was. See how we imagine things. Bhavishyad vicharanam. So he is saying Bhavishyad avicharanam. Not to go behind the past and not to loiter in the future. Not to imagine the future. Audasinyam api praptam. Udasina. Udasina always, often we use in a wrong sense. Udasina means a person who is not doing anything, always looking the absent-minded, that kind of a sense. It is not so. The word has come from ut asinam. Ut means upar, elevated. He is always sitting on an elevated pedestal. Such a person is udasina. His mind is always lofty. It is always seated on an elevated platform. So he doesn't get involved in small things, small selfish thoughts or anything. Audasinam api praptam. He always remains in a elevated, lofty state of mind. Jivan muktasya lakshanam. Now, many questions are there where they will say, if ultimately it is all same, then why does he have to think lofty? Can he not think something bad also? Sab kuch to saman hai. There are many questions, I will reply later. Sab kuch saman hai. So what is the point in becoming virtuous? Vice and virtue both are same in the ultimate level. This is the trouble with the Advaita philosophy. So I will answer it later. So he says, Tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangas samachara. Then, sahajajnaha prajasrishtva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadvam esha vo astu ishta kamadhuk. Is a little difficult word. Esha vaha means for you. Astu ishta kamadhuk. वो अस्त्विष्ट कामधुक, वो स्त्विष्ट कामधुक, वो अस्त्विष्ट कामधुक. वह अस्ति, वो अस्ति, वह अस्तु, वो अस्तु, अस्तु इष्ट, अस्त्विष्ट कामधुक. Like that. So he says that when the Creator created human beings, he created Sahajajnaha. Along with that, this Yajna also was conceived of. That means creation was conceived of along with Yajna, is what he is saying. Then, after creating, the creator Prajapati, he said that Anena prasavishyadvam. You all grow, have your progeny and all, you grow by this Yajna. That Yajna was created along with that, and by this Yajna you grow, you propagate your lineage and all. And Esha Vaha Astu Ishtakamadhuk. And may this Yajna give you your whatever is auspicious for you, whatever is good for you, all those things are given by this Yajna. This is what he said. Now, we have to understand it in various levels also. Ordinarily, Yajna will not give us the real meaning here. When he says that Sahajajnaha prajas srishtva, when the Creator created us along with Yajna, it means that right from the beginning in our creation, the possibility of having this Yajna attitude is there. And the Creator wanted that we always fulfill this Yajna attitude so that everything good happens for us. If we had done everything with this Yajna attitude, then our civilization would have been in a much better state. Because we are flouting this Yajna attitude, it is, what is the Yajna attitude? Being non-selfish. This is the Yajna attitude. Yajna means you completely expand yourself in the whole universe. Anything that is gross, making it subtle is the Yajna. Suppose I am holding on to something, some property I am holding on to. Having the Yajna Bhavana means we think that I cannot only enjoy this, this is to be enjoyed by others also. We think of others also. Suppose we are taking food, we never think of the cultivators who have produced the food, the vegetable, the rice who have produced, or the traders who have made this available for us. Do we think of it? We just take the food and enjoy the food. When we have a comprehensive vision about whatever is happening, we are not selfish, we are not thinking about ourselves, but we are aware of the whole universe as it is functioning, then it becomes a Yajna attitude. So whenever we are doing any work, if we are not doing with the personal gain attitude, that carrot of happiness, then it becomes Yajna. So we have to extend it to the universal level. This possibility of doing everything in the Yajna attitude was there right from the beginning, from the creation of the human being. Because that is wherefrom we are created. The fundamental creation is the Atma, the soul, the consciousness. That consciousness has become everything. But we don't remember that. But at least we are a material projection of the consciousness. And what is our real I? When we look for the real I, go within our body-mind complex, find out the real I. It is the consciousness which is the seer of everything. Not only that, I explained earlier also that looking at the mirror and looking at the sun, that ultimately we are the universal consciousness. So are we not a product of that consciousness? We are an appearance in that consciousness. So that has been there right from the beginning. That is the Anadi, that is the truth we have. So if we are aware of our real identity which is universal, if we are aware of our real identity, then everything becomes Yajna. That I am universal. What is not becoming Yajna is we are always fragmenting, we are always segregating. ये हमारे लिए है, तुम्हारे लिए नहीं है, हम यहाँ रहेंगे, तुम क्यों यहाँ. Everywhere we are fragmenting and we are selfish about everything. That means we are taking us away from our real identity. The real identity is one everywhere. It is the same everywhere. From there we are constricting our I into our own body-mind complex, saying that this much only I am. You get it? That is why we are called Atmaha in Bhagavatam as well as here also. Atmaha means one who has killed his Atma. That means one who has committed suicide. That means all of us have committed suicide. The Shastras say that all of us have committed suicide. Why? Because we don't know what I am in reality. So is it not equal to killing the real I and considering I am the small I? Do you get the point? The real I we are always killing. We have killed and we are killing. Because we don't know who am I. We are thinking I am that small I. So have we not killed our real I? So the expression of the Shastras about us is we have all committed suicide. Our real I has been killed. Atmaha we are. So, Yajna means always to expand ourselves and understand the unity in diversity. The whole universe is appearing on this Atma which I am. Not knowing the real dimension, I am thinking always I am fearful, I am desirous of something, I am running after something, I am running away from something, I am fearful of so many things. It is only because of our misunderstanding of that I. When that misunderstanding is taken away, we spread everywhere and we understand that it is a unified existence. Even mind also. We think that our mind is only in the brain. Is it so? Suppose, what is our mind? If I feel that my mind is good thoughts are there. Who is responsible for that? Is it not whatever the rishis said there, the lofty thoughts which have been put in these Shastras or interpreted by Shankaracharya or other or our Guru or so? Has not my mind taken up all those thoughts and become what it is now? Can I ever be egoistic about my mind? Suppose body I said, but about the mind also can we be egoistic? This mind is constituted of whatever interactions we have made throughout. Part of it is hereditary. Through nature it has come. And part of it is whatever we have read, the novels we have read, the poems we have read, the philosophies we have read, that all have contributed in our mind. So can we be egoistic about our mind that I have very lofty thoughts, I have very pure mind and I am egoistic about it? Is it meaningful? So Yajna attitude is to have the realistic idea about what the world is. It is an unified world. It is not fragmented world. Everybody is unified. That is why our Shastras say that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is our relatives. Not only that, there is another statement where it says that Yatra Vishwa Bhavati Ekanidam. When the whole world becomes the one nest. Here they have used the nest and the whole world. The whole world becomes our nest with the one single nest. This philosophy or this sadhana will make us where the whole world becomes a single nest. You cannot differentiate, you cannot fragment. It's all the variety appearing in the unity. So he says that Anena prasavishyadvam esha vostvishta kamadhuk. When by doing Yajna, constantly doing Yajna, you grow, means always keep your mind on this universality of your self, that oneness of the self. And they will always bring you the auspicious results. Devan bhavayata anena te deva bhavayantu aha parasparam bhavayantaha shreyah param avapsyatha. See the ecological concept in our Shastras, how vast and great it is. Deva, I said it is coming from Dip Dhatu, means brilliance. That means whatever natural powers, fundamental powers are there, they are the Devas. Surya, Chandra, Varuna, the water, air, electricity, everything you can say, the natural powers. When you perform the Yajna, the ritualistic Yajna is performed thinking of the Devas. But it need not be a ritualistic yajna. When we are doing any action, if we think of that I am living because of the air is available to us, because water is available to us, the whole nature is available to us. That means being aware of the nature's bounty, being grateful to nature that nature has given us life. Can we spoil the nature at that time? We have spoiled the nature, dirtied the river, spoiled, cut off the hills, etc. All this natural spoiling we are doing, throwing the effluent in the air. It is because we are not grateful to nature. We are not aware of whatever nature has given us as life. Is it not so? So when we are aware of the whole nature as a whole, that is the Yajna Bhavana. That we are not doing the ritualistic Yajna, but through all our actions, we can be aware that it should not be harmful to nature, it should not be harmful to at least to the other human beings, it should not be harmful to the animals, it should not, in the larger sense, it should not be harmful to nature. Then if we work like that, then nature also will protect us and give us the right kind of whatever to be given to us. So, Devan bhavayata anena te deva bhavayantu vaha. If you go into the Anvaya, anena, that means by this Yajna, Devan bhavayata, you, by this Yajna Bhavana, you worship the Devas, you can say, or think about the Devas. Te Devaha, those Devas also, Vaha Bhavayantu. When you think of nature, when you are aware of nature, nature also thinks of you, that those Devas will protect you. When you are protecting the Devas, that is the general definition of Dharma. Dharma eva hato hanti dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. When we protect the natural harmony, that natural harmony will protect us. When we flout the natural harmony will kill us. So it is a mutual understanding, mutual appreciation, mutual living. So it takes away the selfish greed from our living style and makes us aware of the entire circumstance and nature as well as the society, makes us a citizen of the entire universe. Parasparam bhavayantaha shreyaha param avapsyata. This mutual thinking, that you are thinking of nature and nature is considering you, this mutuality will always take you to the auspicious goal. Param avapsyata. They will take you to the auspicious goal. Ishtan bhogan hivo deva dasyante jajnabhavitaha tairiddattan apradayebhyo yo bhunkte stena eva saha. All the bhogas, all the enjoyments you are having, they are being given to you by nature. Who? To whom? Who is always thinking of the nature? Jajnabhavitaha. To him, nature is giving. Now, if you don't think of nature, be grateful to nature or offer it to the devas correspondingly, then it is like a thief. You are becoming like a thief. The nature has given you, but you don't remember him at all. It is just like even our parents also. Parents has given us birth. Parents has helped us to grow. Everything they have given. But if you forget them, then are we not becoming thieves? So, Tairiddattan apradayebhyo. Whatever nature has given, if you don't give it back to them, giving back to them means thinking of them, you offer to them. Offer to them means you are aware of their gift and you are grateful about the gift. Then you become a thief. That is, you become extremely selfish, constricted personality. Later on they will say, bhunjate te tvagam papaha. They eat sin. Ye pachantya atmakaranat. Those who are absolutely selfish and live their life only for themselves, they are always eating papa. Papa means what? Constriction. That is the constriction. If you don't think of anybody and you do everything for the selfish end, that means you are remaining constricted. In spirituality, any constriction is papa. Even punya also, by punya, if your ego is enhanced, then it is a papa. In spirituality, punya means whatever leads to expansion, and papa means whatever leads you to contraction of the mind, smallness of the mind. Yajna santo mucyante sarvakilvishaihi bhunjate te tvagam papa ye pachanti atmakaranat. Those who are eating after the yajna, whatever the prasada is left, those who are taking that, they get rid of all the papas and kalmashas, all the taints, they overcome, they get freed of. But those who are only cooking and eating for themselves, that is creating everything for those who are selfish, they are only eating sin, is this statement. Now here also this muchyante sarva kilvishai means all sinfulness they are relieved. Actually what happens is that whenever you are getting over your selfishness, you are having the Yajna Bhavana, you are surrendering to the Lord or surrendering to nature, and you take away the selfishness which constricts your mind. Immediately the mind expands and you have a chitta prasada, you have a prasada in the mind. That is what is the Yajna Shishtashinas Santo. The Santa, those who are good people, they are always eating the residue of the Yajna. The Yajna is the offering. Whenever you are making the offering, making the surrender, it results in a prasada. You have done it if you have done it properly. If you are really surrendering, it will immediately give rise to an expansion of the mind, a lightness of the mind, a prasada in the mind. That is the residue of the yajna. Actually, it is not the whatever we have offered. Generally, we take the coconut and the homakunda prasada and eat it, and that is the prasada. That is only a material prasada. The real prasada, if we perform the yajna in any action whatsoever, whatever we are doing, then the prasada is the real prasada, is the placidity of the mind that dawns out of the removal of the selfishness, out of the expansion of the mind. That is the real prasada. We were in Rishikesh at one time, in Kailash Ashram. So Harihar Tirtha Maharaj, we went to see him, he was sitting. So one old lady had come in the morning, and she was about to go by about 4 o'clock or so. So she was repeatedly asking, Maharaj, आज हमें प्रसाद नहीं मिला. तो Maharaj is saying that प्रसाद तो आपको दे चुके हैं. But again after half an hour she says, Maharaj, आज हमें प्रसाद नहीं मिला है. Again Maharaj says, प्रसाद तो आपको दे चुके हैं. Then finally when she was about to go, Maharaj बहुत देर हो गया है, आज जाना है, आप प्रसाद तो कुछ दे दीजिए. Then the Maharaj smiled and said, प्रसाद लेने के लिए आपकी योग्यता नहीं है, आप यही प्रसाद लीजिए. बोल के थोड़ा कुछ ड्राई फ्रूट्स मखाना दे दिए. आप यही प्रसाद पूछ रहे हैं, आपको तो प्रसाद दिए थे, आप लिए नहीं, हम क्या करें, तो यही प्रसाद लीजिए. So we are always interested in our Shakkarpara prasad. Not the other prasada. The real prasada is in the mind, the placidity of the mind. Whenever we are able to get over, transcend our selfishness, make our mind expand, embrace, we get rid of our ragadvesha. Immediately, it is actually dealing with the ragadvesha. If we can remove the ragadvesha, immediately the prasada will dawn. And that is the real prasada. That is the Yajna Shishtashinas Santo. That is the residue of the Yajna, what the good people they eat. See, without this mutuality, the nature cannot sustain. This mutuality they are talking about, even in nature also, you will find everything is related to the other. Even the droppings also, whatever we are rejecting, it has a role to play in nature. The cow dung is making the land fertile. Not only cow dung, every excreta has got a role to play. We don't know, we have not gone into the detail, but nature, nothing in nature is just like that. Everywhere there is a mutuality involved. We are not aware of this mutuality. In our life also, we are not aware of this mutuality. Then he comes over to a full cycle. Evam pravartitam chakram, that the cycle of nature. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyadanna sambhavaha yajnat bhavati parjanyo yajna karma samudbhavaha karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishtitam. These two shlokas, they have two meanings. One is the ritualistic meaning, that way also we can understand, but that will be very shallow meaning. Another is the Yajna, as Bhagavad Gita is explaining Yajna, that universal meaning. The ritualistic meaning is saying that Annat Bhavanti Bhutani, that all the beings are produced of Anna. Anna means whatever is being, we are eating. It need not be only eating, whatever we are taking, they are also Anna. Truly speaking, when you go to the larger dimension, Anna means all object, the entire objectude is Anna. Why? Because the I in us, the consciousness, is the only subject, and it is, all other things are object for it. So the entire objectude, including our thoughts, emotions, everything is Anna. And Annada, the eating, is the subject, the I in us. But in smaller sense, Anna means whatever we are eating or seeing with the eyes, hearing with the ears, etc. So here it is particularly in the initial stage of explanation, Annat means from the food we eat, Bhavanti Bhutani, the beings are made of the food. That is very true. Without food, nothing will grow. Everything, even the plants are growing, taking some food from the soil. Everything is out of food. Parjanyat anna sammavaha. Any anna is produced out of rain, cloud. The cloud sheds rain, and from the rain, the anna is, the food is growing. Yajnat bhavati parjanyaha. They are saying the, for rain and cloud, yajnas have to be performed. Now here in the ritualistic sense, we have to accept it, because it is the Vedic declaration that yajna creates rain. Now in our life, we have seen it to be true. In many cases, we have seen that there is a saying also, whenever any work is very well performed, without selfishness or so, auspicious work is done, Prakriti immediately sheds, that some rain comes at the end of it. And when it rains, people feel happy and satisfied about it. After the end of a yajna, if it doesn't rain, they feel unfulfilled, that the nature has not sanctioned. They feel that the nature has not sanctioned. But we have seen it in various cases also, that there is no cloud, nothing, but after the work is done, clouds come and rain. Many people tried to explain that it is because of the things we are burning in the Yajna Kunda, and that is creating the rain. I don't have any idea about it, I don't know. But what I am saying is that we have found that the end of the Yajna, generally in many cases, I have seen rain. Not only that, in some of the movements also we have seen that when the major procession is led and the final movement is done, and it has been successful, there has been rain. So even some big program, huge program for 3-4 days or 12 days, at the end of it, if it rains, we always feel successful about it. So Yajnat Bhavati Parjanyaha is, in that sense, if you take the ritualistic sense of the two verses. Yajnaha karma samudbhavaha. Any yajna is actually action, karma. But karma also means the Vedas. because karma kanda of the Vedas, that is also called karma. So that sense also it is okay that all the yajnas they are the instructions, injunctions of the Vedas. So they are all originated from the Vedas. Then he says, karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. That this Brahma also is called the Vedas. Vedas also are called Brahman. That is the expressed Brahman. Why? Because we call it, you must have heard that the Vedas are Apaurushaya. Vedas means including the Upanishads. They are called Apaurushaya. People have the idea that Apaurushaya means they are all dropped from the sky, nobody has composed. It is not in that sense Apaurushaya. They are written in the language which human beings are using. That is fine. But what happens is that the Vedas consist of mantras. Each mantra has a power, natural power and all. Each mantra you will find there is a drashta rishi for that mantra. Gayatri, say Vishwamitra, na? Huh? Vishwamitra is the rishi for Gayatri mantra, drashta rishi. So, actually what happens is that the rishi, that is Maharshis, the seers, in their non-dual state of the mind, in their transcendental state of the mind, when the mind is not affected by the world, it's not under the clutch of the duality of the world, in that transcendental state of the mind, many truth is known by that mind. Many truth is seen. Whatever happens, depending on the situation, the truth is revealed in the mind. Because everything, whatever is happening, it is in the consciousness. So the mind, when it goes to the universal consciousness, plane of the universal consciousness, it is in tune with the universe. And there many truths will appear. So that discovery of the truth or revelation of the truth, it comes out as words from the mouth of the rishis. Do you get it? So they are revealed words. We don't call the Vedas as composed. Composition is with our intelligence and mind, we compose the poem and us. But in the case of the Vedas, Upanishads, we say they are revealed words. That is, the words just came down to them, they uttered the word, that's all. They have been the instrument to bring in the sound in expression of the truth. That is why they are called mantra drashta rishis. And the Vedas are only revelations, they are not composed. Vyasadeva has compiled this way that we are taking from here. But original mantras, they are not composed, they are revealed statements. So that way the Vedas themselves are called Brahman, because it is directly coming revelation from the consciousness. That is why they are called the expressed Brahman. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi, brahmakshara samudbhavam. This Brahman, which is manifest as the universe, as the various words, that is actually has come from the Akshara, that means which is non-changing, ultimate, Nishkriya Brahman, that is functionless Brahman, which we get in touch with in Samadhi. There it is Nishkriya. But when it is expressed at the universe, when the whole universe is dancing on this consciousness, it is called Karya Brahma, or Brahma also is used there. So ultimately they are all from what they are saying is it is all from that transcendental consciousness, nothing else. Tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishthitam. So if you take the whole sequence, that sarvagatam brahma, that transcendental consciousness, it is always in the yajna. Always present in yajna. That is the ritualistic yajna. Now I will explain from the point of view of the yajna attitude of our mind. So that way, this yajnad bhavati parjanyaha. This annad bhavanti bhutani. Parjanyad anna sambhavaha. This annad bhavanti bhutani is as usual. From the food, the bhutas are born, and the anna is possible from parjanya. Now, jajnat bhavati parjanyaha, that from the jajna parjanya is born. If you take the universal definition of jajna, it is very much true, because what is happening, the sea, is it not always allowing the sun, allowing its water to get evaporated. The sun is shining on the sea. The sun itself, by radiating its light and heat, it is performing yajna. The concentrated sun, it is getting distributed in the form of radiations everywhere. That is the non-selfish distribution, expansion of the sun. So the very radiation of the sun, everything in nature is yajna. The very radiation of the sun is a yajna. That sunlight, when falls on the sea, the water from the sea is getting evaporated. That is, sea is not holding on the water. No, I will not give it for evaporation. This is my water, as you do generally. It is not doing like that. It is allowing the evaporation to take place. And there is a truth there. Without that, sea also will not survive. The evaporated water goes and forms the cloud and finally goes over to the mountains or so, either in the form of snow or in the form of rain, it comes down. That is the yajna of the cloud. When the cloud is formed, now the cloud is shedding its water for the benefit of everybody. Non-selfish act, expansion. There also, it is a yajna taking place. The water that falls out of rain, that flows to the river. The rivers are born. In a way, it is born from the mountain, but actually it is born of the sea. Unless the sea water had come to the mountain in the form of cloud and rain and all, the rivers would not have been born. The rivers are flowing down, and in the process it is doing so much of yajna. Without the river, no civilization would have been there. It is serving the whole path, animals and human beings and the trees, plants, whatnot. It's the whole life of a river is a yajna. And by that yajna, what is happening to the river? It's getting back to the sea, its origin. Is it not? When the river meets the sea, its yajna is complete. It has gone back to its original sea. Exactly like that, when we get back to our real identity, our yajna also get completed. We are trying to expand ourselves. That is the yajna. With that, by expanding, when we get merged with our real identity, the universal consciousness, our yajna gets completed there. Just like the river. So, it is a process of yajna everywhere. Yajnat bhavati parjanyaha. Yajnaha karma samudbhavaha. Any yajna is this yajna also, the Bhagavad Gita yajna. See, there is another statement, I don't know whether you know. Yajno vai Vishnuhu. Those who have attended our Vishnu Sahasranam yajna, they will know. Yajno vai Vishnuhu. Vishnu is parallel to it, same as yajna. That Vishnu is called yajna. Why? Because Vishnu, the word means Vyapnoti iti Vishnu. Vishnu, the real Vishnu is not 400 two-legged Vishnu. Vishnu is equivalent to our Atma. Vishnu, our Atma is called Vishnu. Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam, Kathopanishad says that we reach the Vishnu's Parampad, that is the universal Atma. That is the Vishnu. So, yajna is actually an expansion which takes us to the ultimate all-pervading Vishnu. So, is not that infinitude lies in every bit of expansion? Infinitude, is it not expressed in every expansion? When a small thing expands, it may not be infinite at that point, but that infinitude's expression is there in every expansion. It is moving towards expansion. Like that, every bit of yajna is an expression of, it is an activation of Vishnu, the concept of Vishnu. Vishnu's abode is called Vaikuntha. Vishnu, where he stays, is called Vaikuntha. It has come, Kuntha means constriction. Kuntha means contraction, constriction, constrictions. Vikuntha means no constriction. So Vishnu's abode is the universal abode, open, there is no constriction at all. We think that Vaikuntha means a chariot will come and we will reach the Vaikuntha, that is an abode, and we will go there. It is not that Vaikuntha is here itself. We are all actually in the Vaikuntha, but we don't know that we are in the Vaikuntha. We are thinking we are small. When that kuntha goes, that constrictions go, the ego goes, then actually we remain in Vaikuntha, the Vishnu's abode. So, karma brahmodbhavam vidhi, brahmakshara samudbhavam. Any karma is actually an expression of the Brahman, of the consciousness. Without that, there cannot be any karma. In Mundakopanishad, he says that tapasa chiyate brahma tato annam abhijayate. Tapasa chiyate brahma tato annam abhijayate. That is as if the consciousness, Brahman, has chiyate, there is no proper English term, but we can say swelled. That is, there is a transformation breeding in the consciousness, and that gives rise to the objectude. Annam means here, the entire objectude is an anna for the consciousness subject. The whole objectude, who is eating? It is meant for the subject. Without the relation to the subject, is there any objectude? The whole objectude means the entire object, including my internal objects of thought, emotions, everything. Without the subject, they don't have any meaning. The whole objectude is the food for the subject. Not understood. So he says, tapasa chiyate brahma, tato annam abhijayate. That is, it is a tapasya, it is an austerity of the consciousness which has created the whole universe. In the next verse it is said, yah sarvajnaha, yah sarvavid, yasya jnanamayam tapaha. This tapas is jnanamayam tapaha. It is not a tapasa of standing on one leg or foot, and Brahman doesn't have anything of that sort. Tapas is a jnanamayam tapa. That means it is a movement or a swelling in the consciousness. Consciousness means jnana, the knowledge we talk about in spirituality. It is not the dual knowledge that I know physics, so physics knowledge I have acquired. It is I become the Atma. I is our own Atma. So the knowledge is the consciousness itself. So it is a movement in the consciousness which has given rise to this universe. It is, closest allegory is your dream. What is happening in dream? Are you bringing in all the materials to create the building in the dream and the human beings, or your own personality in the dream? It is just a movement in the consciousness. Immediately the whole dream is alive there. You did not even thought about it. There is no time causality here. Causality means, suppose you are dreaming your mother. Did you think of mother first and then mother arrived? Or did your mother arrive first and then you thought of mother? Nothing like that. It simply comes. It simply gets born. Like that, the whole universe is in consciousness alone. Whether the gross object or the subtle object or non-gross, non-subtle, the concept of God, the concept of Advaita, the concept of consciousness, everything is in transcendental consciousness. It is just appearing to be. So it's all only jnana and jnana, consciousness and consciousness. But when we say consciousness, you will immediately think that consciousness we will be able to know as an object. It can never be known as an object. Consciousness can only be known as amness in us. If you know the consciousness as something, oh, this is the consciousness I have known, then that is not the consciousness. You who am knowing the consciousness is the consciousness. So consciousness can never be an object or a subtle object or gross object or anything. Tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishthitam. This I have already explained, that this yajna attitude by which always we are transcending our limitations, transcending our fragmentation, transcending our selfishness, by that process always what we are bringing in is the sarvagatam brahma, that infinitude, the expansion. So he is always that ultimate Atma or Brahman, or our ultimate goal is always there in Yajna. Yajna means wherever we have the expansion, wherever we have the sublimation of the ego, wherever we surrender the ego, surrender our desire, surrender our ragadvesha, all these actions are Yajna. And in every such action, the ultimate truth, ultimate knowledge, the Brahman is present. Next day again I will, perhaps tomorrow I will say briefly about the whole cycle, this. Because after this he is saying, Evam pravartitam chakram. This chakra we have to understand. Actually, in the ashram we made a drawing in which the whole sequence is shown, how the sequence is functioning. Because unless you draw it, it will not be remembered properly in the mind. That what is happening, what is giving rise to it. It's a cycle. The full cycle has to be understood. Earlier you said that we should nourish ourselves with good things, thoughts, food, sights. And you said specifically that we should not take anything that harms the body, such as smoking, drinking, etc. Good forms of nourishment and bad forms of nourishment form a duality. We should aspire to but we should aspire to transcend duality. What is the harm then in having a bit of vice also? See, this is a common confusion with Advaita Vedanta. Anything in creation is having the duality. You cannot bring in the Advaita and then function. Then no function will be there. What function you can do if everything is same? Even the mind will not function. But you have to understand the real truth of Advaita, that it is what it is saying is the whole creation is an appearance in this consciousness. Whole creation, including my body-mind complex, is an appearance in the consciousness. But to attain this, first of all, you understand that we are thinking small, we have to become infinitude, we have to become infinite. To do that, why are we having the bad qualities, so-called bad qualities? All the bad qualities are some sort of selfishness. Is it not so? We want to enjoy something which is harmful to others or whatever. So by any bad quality, generally our smallness is strengthened, that you accept or not. Our constricted personality is strengthened by all the vices, all the bad qualities. Because any bad qualities cause more constriction in us. Even when we are lying also. It is the selfish idea that about ourselves which is strengthened through that. I am afraid of facing something, that is why I am speaking lies. Now, the bad tendencies themselves will restrict your expansion. So, unless you expand, you are small. You have to expand to infinitude. And finally, you have to transcend. Transcendentalness is coming, it is beyond big as well as small. Unless you are able to become big, you will not be able to transcend. The good and bad both are from this transcendental truth. But if you are not good, you will not be able to transcend good and bad. You will be clinging to bad. But what the proper process is that when you cultivate goodness, you develop a hatred towards the bad. When you become very good, you become hateful about the criminals or those who have the bad qualities. So that again restricts your becoming all-embracing infinitude. Am I clear? That is not allowing, because you are eliminating from your wholesomeness the bad people and bad qualities and everything. So once you have become freed of all the bad qualities which constrict you, you can go over to the transcendence where you do not hate anymore the bad qualities also. Not that you become bad, but you do not hate any bad quality. Even the criminal you will not hate. That is why the criminals also come to a saint. Because they feel that here is somebody who will not blame me, who will understand me. So Bhagavatam says, Guna dosha drishid doshaha, gunastu ubhaya varjitaha. That means when you approach, first you have to win over the dosha by cultivating gunas. By cultivating good qualities, you have to win over the bad qualities. Once you have cultivated the good qualities and you are full with the good qualities, you have to go farther beyond, where you will not discriminate between good and bad. Guna dosha drishit doshaha. That discriminating between good and bad itself is a guna, and dosha itself is a dosha. Gunastu ubhaya varjitaha. Ultimate guna is you transcend both. That means not that you become bad, but you can embrace those who are bad also. You accept the badness as an existing quality on this earth. Whatever exists has got the right to exist. If the criminal is there in the society, he might be put in the prison, all right, but he has all the right to exist. Without evil, there would not be any meaning to the goodness also. The whole wholesome truth manifests as both duality. This good and bad is a duality. But you cannot reach the transcendental level by remaining bad, because bad itself is constricting. It will not allow you to have the good qualities. Once you have the good qualities, then you can transcend. This Advaita also, there is a story, same Mahatma, that Kailash Ashram, Rishikesh. One day a devotee, his very fond devotee had come and he was saying that, Maharaj, हम एक बहुत मुश्किल में पड़ गए हैं. क्या हुआ? हम दोनों ही तो आपसे, he and his wife, he has come alone, but he is saying हम दोनों ही तो आपसे दीक्षा लिए हैं और आप तो हमेशा हमारी पत्नी को बोलते हैं कि वो बहुत भक्त हैं. She is very devoted. You always appreciate her also. But recently what has happened is that every day she comes very late in the night. She comes back home very late in the night. If I tell her anything, she doesn't listen. She said, आप महाराज से कुछ सीखे नहीं हैं. That wife says that आप महाराज से कुछ सीखे नहीं हैं. हम क्या शरीर है? हम तो आत्मा हैं. शरीर क्या करता है उसमें? हमारा क्या है? हम तो आत्मा है. I am the soul. Am I the body? You don't understand? तो when बट हिंदी में ही इसका, हिंदी नहीं बोलने से ठीक नहीं होगा. आई विल ट्रांसलेट इन इंग्लिश. सी द हस्बैंड सेड दैट वी हैव टेकन इनिशिएशन फ्रॉम यू, बोथ ऑफ अस आर डिवोटेड टू यू, एंड यू ऑलवेज हैव बीन प्रेजिंग माई वाइफ दैट शी इज मोर डिवोटेड देन मी. I accept it, and she understands philosophy also better than me. But recently what has happened is that she comes back home every night very late. And if I tell her anything that, why are you doing like this or so, she says that, oh, you have not learnt anything from the Maharaj. Am I the body? I am the Atma. So whatever the body does, how does it matter? I am the Atma. So he is placing the problem before the Mahatma, what shall I do? The Mahatma said that yes, there is a medicine for that. You एक अच्छा सा मोटा वाला लाठी रख लो. You take a thick big stick, keep it near the door, and when she comes, you welcome her and then lock the door and immediately start beating her with the stick. वो जब चिल्लाती है ना, तब बोलो कि अरे हम तो शरीर को मारते हैं, थोड़ी तुम शरीर हो. हम तो शरीर को मारते हैं, थोड़ी तुम शरीर हो. I am beating the body. You are not the body, you are the Atma. I am beating only the body. तो ठीक हो जाएगा. Advaitic delusion will go away. So there are stories, various stories like this to clarify these things. Advaita is not for practicing in this manner. Advaita is to be practiced with this samatva, yajna, etc. Until the duality goes, then nobody has to explain you what you are supposed to do or not. As long as you are within the fold of duality, you have to cultivate the virtues. And in 13th chapter, we have discussed how knowledge is a conglomeration of 20 virtues. That means, suppose we had shown a picture where there is a hill like this. Now on the top there is a lake. It is similar to what actually is there in Himalayas. You will look into the map, you will find most of the perennial rivers have come down from the same glacier. It's like that. Now these rivers are flowing down the hill. If you climb up along a river, as you go up, is not all the rivers coming closer to you, because it is cone like this. All the rivers are coming closer, and when you go to reach the top, you are at the center from where all the rivers are flowing down. Now consider these rivers as virtue. The 20 virtues which have been discussed in the 13th chapter, how they are becoming the jnana, they have said, etad jnanam iti proktam. That these virtues, say impersonality, compassion, love, disattachment, everything, that each river, 20 rivers you consider each virtue. As you move on any of the river, any of the virtues, automatically you will find that other virtues are also enriching you, they are coming closer to you. And when you have reached the top, that is, you have the knowledge, actually you find that all the virtues, the peak point is the same. Whether it is Shuchitva, whether it is Amanitvam, whether it is Adambhitvam, whether it is Arjavam, all the 20 virtues enumerated there in the 13th chapter, the peak of those virtues is the infinitude of the soul, universality of the soul. When you become one and transcendental, then all these virtues will adorn you. So if you try to eliminate one virtue from there and keep some vice, will you be able to reach there? It is not possible. What is the difference between religion and spirituality, if any? This we have been discussing. The religion and spirituality, they are very different. Where religion ends, spirituality starts. See, in religion generally is based on a concept of God in our mind. Even atheist also, we can say, the atheist believes in the concept of no God. As a religious person, a God-fearing person believes in a certain concept in his mind about God, the atheist also believes in a concept of no God. They are all believing in the concept of something God or no God or so. Whereas in spirituality, when we start questioning that concept, the spirituality starts. That is, I have been worshipping God for such a long time. Has God come near to me? Have I gone closer to God? Does God exist? If at all He exists, where does He exist? All these questions start coming, that inquiry. Then dawns spirituality. Then you start thinking that I am the observer of the whole world. To know the world, I have to first know myself. Who am I? And the whole focus of sadhana becomes within. In God, you are always thinking of an external God. The focus is not within. But in spirituality, always the focus is your personality, purification of your mind, because the God, if at all, will be known by your mind. Not only that, it will be known when your mind becomes God. Devo bhutva devanapyati. If I am an worshipper of Shiva, that worship becomes fulfilled when my mind becomes Shiva. Until then, it will be worship only. The worship gets fulfilled when the mind becomes the Shiva. So, spirituality, the whole focus is inward. In religion, the focus is an external God generally, but it can become the God is in my inside also. In an advanced stage of devotion, it will be like that. But basically, as a large-scale religion, generally people go to the temple or worship some idol, and in dire necessity, they will not be able to, although they may say that God is within me, they will pray to some God somewhere. You think about yourself, you will find that, suppose there is a calamity, you will immediately start praying to God thinking that He is somewhere. He will not think that God is here, I will pray here. Because that faith will not come until the knowledge dawns. That will come only when the knowledge dawns about the reality of the Atma. Till then, you will always pray to the external God. Although you may say that I know that God is within me. So that is the difference, fundamental difference. The practices are also different. So spiritual practices are all based on the personality purification, purification of mind, intelligence, emotion, everything. In short, it is this. Prabuddham vimuktam vikārādihinam prasannam sada nitya bodhasvarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranomi. Prabuddham vimuktam vikārādihinam प्रसन्नं सदा नित्यबोधस्वरूपं परं निश्चलं निर्गुणं सर्वरूपं भजेऽहं सदानुस्मरामि प्रणौमि.